Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a video and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Today, I'm privileged to have a friend, a fellow IPO member, and a very senior businessman from Dubai, UAE, Mr. Navin M. Valrani. Navin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashutosh.
Navin is the managing director of the Shirawi Group of UAE. He's the CEO of Arcadia Education. He's an MBA from the London Business School. He's done his MS in education at UPEN and is pursuing his doctorate in education as well. And as I just mentioned, he's a fellow member from the YPO. So Navin, tell me, what would you say are the three key milestones in your career or your life?
Wow, that's a great question to start with. So if I reflect on my life, the first key milestone is to acknowledge that I was born into a very privileged family.
Okay.
I'm blessed to be the son of my father and my mother. I was raised in a very loving family, in a very caring family, and in a family that really valued education. And I think I am what I am because of the family that I was born into.
Okay.
So I think that's sort of the one key milestone, my birth. The other was when I got into my undergrad school, which was the Wharton School of Business, where I did my first formal degree. And that was a pivotal moment, I think, in my life. I mean, the education was amazing at Penn, at Wharton, but it was the confidence that came with it, the self-belief that I could do more, I could make a difference. And I almost felt I had a duty to make a difference because, you know, the chips had fallen in my favor and I felt that I had to do more. And really the third, I mean, there's so many, but I'm reflecting in the early part of my life. But the third really important event was the day I met my wife, and together we have raised a beautiful family. We have two wonderful boys, like you do, and who we are very, very proud of. And we have also, in our own rights, built this little education fraternity around us, which we value greatly. So really, these are the three really big milestones.
Fantastic. So before I come to Arcadia Education, tell me about what the Shirawi Group does.
Oh, well, I could probably be going for the next hour.
No, you got all of 2 minutes.
Shirawi Group does.
Because I want to talk of Arcadia after that.
The Shirawi Group is a diversified conglomerate, headquartered in Dubai, but doing business all over the world. And it is a partnership between two families. The family of Abdullah Al-Shirawi, our founding chairman, and the family of Mohan Valrani, my father, a founding senior vice chairman and founding group MD. They both are wonderful individuals, and two of the most impressive entrepreneurs I have ever met in my entire life.
Wow.
And these two have created what is today known as the Shirawi Group, which is 30 plus companies across 10 different sectors. And really we cover everything from manufacturing industries to contracting industries to distribution businesses to service businesses to education. So it's widely diversified. Logistics is another big operation that we have. Packaging is printing and packaging is another one. So very widely diversified, but driven by the values and the work ethic of these two gentlemen. And that's really what Shirawi Group is in 2 minutes.
And maybe at some stage I'm going to reach out to you and say, can I speak to both of them as well?
Oh, yes.
On their stories. But
yes,
this episode is about
stories.
This episode is about Navin Valrani. So Navin, let's talk about Arcadia Education. And I can see you're very passionate about education. So tell me about this venture.
So Arcadia is where my heart and my mind is.
Mm-hmm.
Arcadia is the brainchild of my father, Mohan Valrani, and when my father reached the age of roughly 75, he's 80 now,
Mm-hmm.
but roughly 75, or even slightly before that, he decided to take a step back from the business. He was still involved, but decided, day to day, it was time to hand over to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he wanted to give back to the city of Dubai specifically.
Okay.
And his way of giving back was through education. He was and is a big believer in education, in the power of education to transform lives.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know what, I'm going to build schools. He had been the chairman of the Indian High School, which is the largest non-profit school in the country.
Okay.
And from that, he really felt that he needed to do more in the education space.
Mm-hmm.
So he embarked on building a series of schools. We built two in the last, which we've launched in the last 4 years.
Okay.
And the third one is the construction is just about to start.
Okay.
So he's on a mission to build schools and to educate the children of Dubai. And really from that vision and that inspiration came my role, which was, he approached him and the investors approached me, the rest of the Shirawi Group, and said that, would you like to lead the venture and take it forward? And I accepted it, and it really transformed my life. It was, if there was a fourth milestone, it was really, being appointed as CEO. And I began my own education journey then. So Arcadia, as the name reflects, is a school that stands for happiness, for student well-being, and for getting students to really meet and exceed their dreams.
Okay.
And the vision from Mohan Valrani was that he wanted a school that really focused on well-being. And this is now 5 years before the pandemic, right? So, everyone talks about well-being now.
Yeah.
He was really ahead of his time when he came up with this vision and the name Arcadia, which is an area in Greece, which was known for, after the Roman Empire left, and people discovered Arcadia, it was untouched by the wars of Europe. It was known for its simplicity. It was known for its happiness. So that's where he got the name from. When I just look at that name, it reminds me every day. I'm in the school right now. Every day, what my mission is, and it's to keep students happy and to do what I can in my role as the CEO of the organization to make them meet their dreams. So really, that in a nutshell is Arcadia. We have today 600. Just under 600 students. We've been open this is our 5th year. We've opened 4 years.
Wow.
And it's been an interesting 4 years. So we're very proud of the 600 students we have.
Fabulous. And this is the K-12 school?
It's right now up to year 8.
Okay.
We'll be opening year 9 next year.
Okay.
And again, this is a journey for us.
Sure.
Our first graduating class will be obviously when we have year 13, which is also known as grade 12. And then we're opening our value school, which is a school that will cater to families that want an affordable education, but still an Arcadia education. And that's our third school that will be open. So lots of exciting things.
Fantastic.
And again, it's, as I said, it's where my heart and where my mind is.
Amazing. So tell me, third school coming up in Dubai, any plans to take it to the other 6 Emirates and then beyond?
Yes. The short answer to that is yes, because education. We love Dubai, right? Dubai is, according to my father, my brothers, my family, and myself, is honestly the best city in the world.
Correct.
I cannot think of a better place in the world where communities across the world come together, live together, pray together, have fun together, smile together, and observe law and order, while raising beautiful families.
Correct.
So Dubai is such a special city
Yeah.
that it feels it will be challenging for us to actually step out of Dubai because we're just so used to being in Dubai.
Yeah.
But I think the other Emirates, Abu Dhabi, is another very special city and a special emirate. It's the capital. And we definitely want a presence there in the next 10 years. The Northern Emirates, where really I would say education can be even more transformational because of the dynamics that exist out there. So yes, we do intend and plan to be in other Emirates, and I would say would happen in the next decade.
Fantastic. So tell me, education as an area to do a lot of work in needs to build very strong values because that's what is transferred to all the children. What are the values of Arcadia that you believe in?
So character building is a central core tenet of the way we educate students at Arcadia.
Okay.
And really there's a number of characteristics that we look for. During COVID, there's been, I would say, a small pivot to that as well because of the new dynamics that have arisen.
Correct.
But Arcadia, traditionally, historically, is a school that's known for creativity. We're an innovative school, and our students are encouraged and display thinking out of the box. It's a school that is known for in taking initiative. It's a school that's known for strength, developing strength, both physical and mental strength through our sports programs and our performing arts programs. And it's a school that also prides itself on academic success. So really, we look for a lot of key values and values. The one that really resonates with me personally is the value of compassion,
Okay.
and care.
Okay.
We live in an interesting time, and while this may be the new normal, we just don't know how the world will play out in 2021 and beyond. I think it's important to reflect for all our students and our staff and our leadership to reflect that what's happened in the world, what's going on, and what's needed to be done. The first thing, that as I told you, there's been a pivot as well. Resiliency is a word that is often used for in this crisis. But our students have shown a tremendous ability to pick themselves up and keep going.
Wow.
And we were under lockdown for one semester, then came the summer, or one term, then came the summer. And then we reopened our schools with a lot of safety measures. But at the end of the day, we needed students to come back, to believe in us, to believe in themselves, and to comply, and to at the same time learn. And our students have shown such courage and strength. I draw my inspiration from looking at them.
Fantastic.
So these are the values that really have sort of come through for me, and ones that we try and inculcate in our students. Arcadia is a very, very special place, and I often tell my team that yes, academic success is important. Yes, the path to university or post-secondary education, whatever that may be, is very, very important. But at the end of the day, the true evaluation of a school is when someone reaches mid-20s, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, looks back at their life and says, that school made a difference.
Amazing.
Right? And I think that's really the true evaluation of a school's value add. And I always encourage my team members to think in that manner.
Amazing. So let's move on. And, when I was reading about you, you've got a Monica and Navin Valrani Scholarship Fund. Tell me about this fund and who is it for?
So the fund was set up by my wife and I for more to empower Indian female students to go to university. That was the original intention. And it was because it was clearly evident when we were being raised that there was a bias culturally towards boys. And we both could see this. It was very, very evident. So we decided that in our giving, we would pick an issue that resonated with us personally and culturally. And when it came to supporting a cause philanthropically, we would look at empowering Indian women through education. Subsequent to that, particularly what's happened, during the last year, we've actually looking still at empowering female students, but looking at minorities as a whole, and not just Indian students. So the cause for female, and if you come to Arcadia, if you come to our school, it's actually amazing. We have posters of female leaders and inspirational quotes from them all over the school. Our executive principal, Giles Pruitt, is also a big believer and a big champion for that cause. And it's great to have someone in your leadership team whose thoughts and whose vision is aligned with you. So really, that's the history behind creating that scholarship.
Amazing. Thank you for doing such amazing stuff. So, Navin, you also teach the junior MBA program. Where do you teach this, and why do you do this?
So the junior MBA program is offered now in two places. It's offered at Arcadia, which is our school, and we teach it from year 3 to year 6. And then students who are interested in enterprise go on to another program called Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership, and then eventually move on to a summative, which is a capstone project, which can be incubated as well. So the junior MBA there's multiple objectives. So firstly, there is the overarching belief that enterprises can and should do good. And that message, we want students to carry that message back to their own families, back to the community. And as they progress in life and go out into the real world, they also should have an understanding that organizations can create significant social impact.
Correct.
So that's the driving force behind the curriculum, a curriculum that was created by me based on the first year MBA program. So we do teach hard skills. There is the accounting, there is the finance, there is the spreadsheets, there are we teach the marketing mix. But at the end of the day, the purpose of all this is to look at businesses, to look at entrepreneurial ventures in a light that is needed in the age that we live in. So the junior MBA program was founded by me. It was based, I had an undergrad business education. I had an MBA, so I felt I had the skill set to put a curriculum together. And the second objective, and this is a little selfish, is that it allows me to teach. And teaching is something that is very, very close to my heart.
Fantastic.
It gives me great pleasure in learning while teaching. So while I'm teaching the students and they're learning from me, the students are also asking me questions that challenge my own thinking. And I love that dialogue and that discussion. And I love being in the classroom. So there is that whole teaching side. And also, as the CEO of Arcadia Education, it gives me a chance to hear firsthand from the students. And again, I teach, my executive principal teaches, my head of primary teaches, the entire leadership team at Arcadia teaches. And I think that's an important quality in the way we run our schools.
Wonderful. So now let me move to the next part of our conversation, which is some questions for you personally. So Naveen, born into an incredible family, have two amazing sons, great family at home, built an amazing business, seem to be doing what you're really passionate about, which is education. What does success mean to Naveen?
Great question. You're asking some very difficult questions, Ashutosh, but I'm glad you are. Success for me means happiness on a personal level, and happiness for me comes from serving others.
Okay.
And I know it's a little socialist in thinking, particularly for a business person.
Yeah.
But in my early years, when I was in university, although I was at Wharton and doing a business degree, I did a lot of reading around Gandhi.
Okay.
And Gandhi was and is, he's my inspiration. Father of the nation, to be able to lead a non-violent struggle and lead India to independence in the way he did, was truly remarkable. I don't think, the closest that the world has come to that is Nelson Mandela's struggle.
Correct.
In South Africa. But when you look at the scale and size of India, and you'd appreciate this because you live there, the magnitude of the movement that he led was actually tremendous. So a lot of his thinking, his teachings, his philosophy of ahimsa resonated with me at university. So when I entered the workplace, I did have from the outset this idea of serving others. And of course, there's serving those who are around you, which is of course your family, your community, but it also starts at your workplace. So rather than pretend to be someone who knows it all, my approach has been, and this is connected to how I define success, has been, how do I support you? Right? How do I make your life easier?
Correct.
And, a lot of people do ask me, Naveen, what do you define as success? Even things like, what is fun for you? And for me, honestly, it's making others happy. I enjoy it when I have contributed something to someone's life, which has made them smile.
Fantastic.
So really, that's success for me.
Fantastic. So I've got time for one more question, and I'm trying to debate what to ask you, but I think I'll come back to the pandemic, and I'm going to ask you this one question. And Dubai has handled the pandemic incredibly well. How are you rethinking your life in a new world order in the world?
That is such a good question. Again, a great question to end with. The pandemic has reminded me on how frail life is. There's sadness all around. People are dying before one expected. There's mental health challenges. And one begins to realize how temporary we all are. And in the business world, you see the display of people acting in self-interest on a daily basis.
Correct.
It's everywhere, right? It's the entire system has been set up based on self-interest. And I'm making a conscious effort to now move away from that.
Okay.
I believe that both the crisis in '08 and the crisis of 2020 has shown us that the system that we operate under has basically failed.
Okay.
We need to look for new models. New models of capitalism, a different version of how we govern our societies. And really my role now, I look at my role as someone who can possibly facilitate this process in my own small little way.
Okay.
In the environment I operate in.
Sure.
But really the idea that life is temporary and we need, we're here and we can make a difference every single day, because sooner or later we won't be able to make a difference. We'll be, gone. And I don't want to have any regrets at that time. I want to have lived a life where I say, I did my very best to make the difference in the lives of everyone around me. So 2020 has just been such a reminder of how temporary life is.
Absolutely.
And that, what are we in the pursuit of?
Correct. Well said.
And again, that to me has been the big message of 2020 and the pandemic.
Navin, thank you so much. It's been such a privilege speaking to you. Thank you for some incredible responses. I wish you, the Shirawi Group, Arcadia Education, lots and lots of success.
Thank you, Ashutosh, and thank you for everything you do for the community and your story. And I should be interviewing you one day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.